One of my all-time favorite games, if not my absolute favorite game for the ColecoVision, is undoubtedly Mr. Do. I spent hours in the evening playing it in a hotel lobby which had a ColecoVision set up for guests to use. The ColecoVision was my introduction to Mr. Do, even before playing it in the arcade, and I've grown to love it on every system it's been released for. Yes, even the lowly Atari 2600 version has its charm. So naturally, when I discovered that there was a port for the Nintendo Game Boy, I immediately sought out a copy for my own, and I must say that I'm very impressed with the quality of the title. Mr. Do is, of course, very similar in gameplay to Namco's Dig Dug. You control a cute little circus clown as he travels the various levels, collecting cherries and avoiding monsters. Where Dig Dug used an air pump to dispatch his enemies, Mr. Do has a power ball which will bounce around the open areas of the level until it either hits an enemy or returns to Mr. Do. There are two kinds of primary enemies in Mr. Do, mini dinos and driller dinos. Although it's more accurate to say that there is just one type of enemy, as the mini dinos transform into driller dinos. As plain old mini dinos, they travel along the pathway of the level chasing Mr. Do, but will occasionally change into driller dinos that can burrow through the level, taking shortcuts to get to you. There are also apples strewn through the level that Mr. Do can push onto the monsters, but beware that Mr. Do can be done in by falling apples as well. The level ends when either all of the cherries are collected, all the monsters are destroyed, or a diamond appears on the screen. With every 5,000 points, an alpha monster will enter the level from above where it wanders back and forth over the letters that spell extra. Hitting the alpha monster with a power ball will award you that letter, and if you get all the letters, you get an extra Mr. Do. A bonus item in the middle of the playfield will appear after all the regular monsters have entered the playfield. Picking up this bonus item will freeze all the regular monsters, and it will trigger the appearance of the alpha monster, along with 3 of his henchmen, called Munchers, who will make a beeline for Mr. Do. Shooting them will turn them into apples, but shooting the alpha monster will make all remaining Munchers disappear. I found the gameplay in this Game Boy version of Mr. Do very well done and easy to control. It does take some getting used to not being able to see the whole screen at once, but I think it adds to the challenge of the game. Like the Super Nintendo version of Mr. Do, which I've previously reviewed, this Game Boy version is a little on the rarer side, and it might be difficult to find a copy for a cheap price, but in my opinion, it's a title that is well worth it. As a fan of classic arcade ports, this version of Mr. Do, for me, ranks up there with the ColecoVision and Super Nintendo ports in quality, gameplay, and fun, and I definitely recommend it. This is Atari Leaf, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.